We normally take, and I think all of us look at New Year's or New Year's Eve for a celebration, right? It's a new beginning. It's a time to start over again. But the Spirit's just been really impressing on me the seriousness of the time we're in. And we keep wanting, we keep confessing, and we keep speaking change and growth in the Spirit or in Christ. And yet, and hoping that our world will change. And so we keep looking for relief. We had a great time last night here, but others felt like in their own world they were having a great time too, wherever the party was. And I'm not putting down parties. I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm trying to talk about people are trying to find relief and renewal every year. But they keep doing the same thing. And I just feel in my spirit that this is a year that God has set aside to bring reformation to our nation or to our city or to our community. But in order for him to do that, we have to be set aside to do it. And there's just some stuff. In my spirit, it's such a enormous time of opportunity for us to minister. Because if you don't realize it, the world is not going to straighten itself out. It's never going to happen. It's going to continue. We looked, who? Who would have thought that the lines would be drawn so dramatically to where you're forced to make a choice even in the world? And for most of us, we're forced to be quiet because we're counter-cultural. Or we're supposed to be. Who would have thought? This week I was looking at, or just thinking as I was walking back up to the house, there was a story about the Holocaust, and the church was near the railroad tracks, and the train that would go by on Sunday morning was a train to the concentration camps. And they could hear the moans and the crying and the despair of the people as the train went by. And for them to find relief, they just sang a little louder. I think we're in that time. I'm not trying to put a fear in it, but well, maybe I am. But we are in a time where we can actually make a difference. But the battle is the battle isn't in our natural. It's not in our words. It's not in our strength. It's all in Him. It's all in the Spirit. And we've got to make this transition to where we look at life, especially our life, differently. I don't like being in a position where my brothers and sisters' salvation is my responsibility. Because I don't want to be responsible for them. I want to knock him over the head and said, can't you see reality? Can't you see this? But that's not how it's done. The responsibility is differently. You have to understand. It's like, can't you see? And the reality is they can't see. Because they don't know how to see. I don't. There's so much to do. So much so that it's impossible for me to change it. Only He can. And I have to learn, I have to connect with Him in such a way to where I move in His strength, and I move in His love, and I move in His compassion, and I learn His expectation rather than mine. Because I've been beat up so many times, not by you, just the world, just things. Then my expectation continues to minimize and minimize and minimize. But my expectation has to change this year. Can I be blunt? It's going to be a little blunt. I've got some words today, but they're a little blunt. I'm sorry. Because the time we're in is different. And I feel there's not an emergency, but there's a shift in this year. And we need to look and understand the place where God has us. And so you've been gifted with the ability to see and to work with and to bring people to stability and prosperity. But He wants you to turn that into spiritual prosperity and spiritual stability in people's lives. And so, because of the gifting you have, it's a natural transition for you to look from different eyes to see what you're called to do and to be a spiritual leader in prosperity and in stability. Does that make sense? And so look at that, because I speak that over you today, because He's called you to minister spiritual prosperity. Insight was what I got for you. Insight, divine insight, not only to see who you are, but to see how to minister and to break through into people's lives rather than just speaking. You have the words that pierce the heart and break open the place that needs to be broke open so that change comes.